day.
The Expansion Zone with Sonya Barrett.
Everybody's talking about consciousness. Everybody wants that eternal kiss. Yeah, everyone's saying there's more than this. Everyone wants to follow their own bliss. Talking about one love, one blood, one life in everyone. One life, give each other. We are sisters and brothers. We sing Om Shanti.
On the Expansion Zone, we examine life and our quest to understand who and what we are and of the vastness of human potentials. We explore the making of our world from quantum physics to parapsychology, health, sociology, and philosophy, along with practical living. You are reminded of the possibilities in creating personal change. So for an hour, we'll stimulate and expand the mind.
Om Shanti, 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 Shanti. See the world. Let's do it together. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. It's time to wake up. Shanti, Shanti, to a brighter day. Realize that. Shanti, Shanti.
Well, welcome once again to another edition of the Expansion Zone with Sonya Barrett. I'm, of course, your host, Sonya Barrett, and as always, wishing you the best Monday experience possible. And, of course, we all have heard the news, and I just wanted to say that our hearts go out to the Bryant household, to the family, and at the same time, I'd also like to recognize just anyone out there experiencing loss at this time. I really wish you peace. And, of course, there's no one life that is really greater than the other. But when we have someone that's been in the public eye that much and has been part of our lives, and we, even though I'm not necessarily a big sports fan, but just remembering him very young, Kobe at a very young age, when he first came on the scene. And so from that standpoint, there is a connection that we have to people who are in the public limelight, particularly when they are attempting to probably do something that is worthwhile in helping others and just in a variety of ways. So I just wanted to acknowledge the family as a mother as well, to understand what that is probably, or try to understand. I don't know that I can, what that person, what that mother, what Vanessa could be experiencing at this time. But anyway, the wheel of life goes on. It continues to move. And so while there is much coming at us in the collective arena, let us really aim to find balance within ourselves. This is really where the healing, any kind of healing, can begin. And really, after all is said and done, it's balance. It's finding that place within us that really begins to create healing and put us in a state of some sort of centeredness. And my quote and tip for the day, which is really from me, I'm quoting myself, but being present tames the wild mind. So being present tames the wild mind. In other words, be in the moment as much as possible. It really will greatly reduce stress and confusion. And that is a challenge for all human beings, is to really stay in the moment. But we have to attempt to do it because there is a lot of peace that's there and less stress on us when we can do that. So today's topic is we're going to be talking about how scalar energy operates at the quantum level and is capable of disassembling all types of pathogens thus eliminating causative agents of disease. And so our guest today is going to be Tom Paladino. He's the founder of Creative Energy. Scalar Light Remote Broadcasting is really what is going to be featured today. That's going to be the featured topic. Now, what else is there that I can say? There's a couple other things that I wanted to kind of look at really quickly. But I'm going to say this, that we really are in the light age, and that meaning that it is a time where there seems to be rapid discoveries coming about, rapid discoveries in terms of light. And so here's a brief quote, an excerpt from an article. It's titled "The New Property of Light Discovered." And this was June 28th, 2019, anyway, that this article was written. And I think it was, about at that time that this discovery was made. And the article is by Bob Yerka on a physics website, phys.org, phys.org. It says a team of researchers affiliated with several institutions in Spain and the U.S. has announced that they have discovered a new property of light, self-torque. In their paper published in the journal Science, the group describes how they happened to spot the new property and possible use for it. Let's see. And possible use for it, and I'm not sure where scientists have long known about such properties of light as wavelength. More recently, researchers have found that light can be twisted. Light can also be twisted, a property called angular momentum. Now, the only reason why I read that excerpt is just basically just confirming what I'm saying, that there are so many discoveries that are going to be coming about and are coming about at this time in terms of light and just science overall, which impacts, of course, technology, which impacts human beings and how we can better manage ourselves. I like to say manage these bodies that we're in. So, all right. So a little bit of information on our guest. Tom Paladino began research with Scalar Energy, a.k.a. the creative strength, during his undergraduate years. He was inspired by various scientists, especially Nikola Tesla, as to the existence of an energy that was not of the electromagnetic spectrum. With this inspiration, he pursued a course of independent study in order to better understand and subsequently harness scalar energy. Scalar energy is also known as prana, chi, radiant energy, zero-point energy, chi, orgone, elliptic energy. After years of experimenting and modification, Tom has developed a technique using scalar energy that will transmute pathogens quickly and painlessly. This technique facilitates the use of photographs of people who desire to have pathogens transmuted in their bodies. He has developed a remote treatment process whereby he is able to administer the scalar energy reverse phase angle harmonic of a pathogen, thereby causing the agent of infection to disassemble or fall apart. All right, so without further ado, welcome to the show, Tom Paladino.
Hi, Sonia. A pleasure to meet you.
Yes. Well, this is really profound stuff. And, of course, I've had the opportunity to experience this scalar light. So let's begin by having you just briefly explain or give some insight as to what we're talking about when we're referring to scalar energy or scalar light.
Oh, sure. It's very straightforward. Scalar light is sunlight or starlight. All energy originates from the stars in the universe. And I'm working with a spectrum known as scalar light, or some people call that zero-point energy or Tesla energy. It is not electricity. It's not of the electromagnetic spectrum. So working with this dimension, this spectrum of energy, we can achieve so much more that we cannot achieve, per se, with electricity. And this is why I've made a career out of studying scalar energy. I think it's a much more versatile energy than that of electromagnetic energy.
Okay. So is it because when you say that it's not of the electromagnetic spectrum, obviously it's beyond the spectrum is what you're saying? Well, you said 0 point. So
It's a different spectrum altogether, if you will. When the stars create energy, it always initiates a scalar. It's scalar that powers the stars. And therefrom, scalar energy will degrade into electricity and magnetism. So the energy spectrum we're familiar with, electromagnetic energy, is simply a derivative of scalar. So it is scalar that really is the primal force of the universe. And in so doing, if we access that primal force, we can accomplish so much. As a tool of nature, scalar energy provides that consummate control over nature.
Absolutely interesting because, yes, I think you're a common person or your average person, we tend to focus just more on the frequencies, well, I guess below that, which would be the electromagnetic spectrum, more that spectrum. So, so this is powerful to understand more about this and its impact. Now, how does this relate in the sense of health then, in the sense of what you discovered?
Sure. Well, there's many functions for this energy. If you look at electricity, look at all of the tools that have been derived from electricity and what electricity, once it's controlled and managed, what it can achieve. Well, likewise, with a scalar energy instrument, I have observed there's many things you can perform with instruments that control scalar energy. In particular, to improve human health, my scalar energy instruments are able to control microorganisms. With a scalar light instrument, I can easily break down a microorganism, such as a virus or a bacterium. I literally fragment a virus or a bacterium. So what I'm saying to the audience is that with a scalar light instrument, I have the assured process in which I can take a virus or a bacterium and disassemble that into smaller components. I have the easy way of eradicating viruses and bacteria, fungi from the human body. And I do this all by way of these custom-built instruments, if you will, these scalar light instruments.
Okay. Now let's see if we can, where else we can take that apart. So basically you're saying that when it comes to microorganisms, this new process or this process that I don't know if anything is new anymore, but it's, it's when we encounter it or discover it, but to be able to take apart or, like you said, disassemble something that's going on in the body, a pathogen, and it's focused on on viruses, fungi, all of those kinds of things, I believe. Exactly.
So the way these instruments are calibrated, they're calibrated to destroy, to break apart microorganisms. Now, imagine if you had the ability, Sonia, in your laboratory to work with instruments that could easily break apart the herpes virus, or that could easily break down the bacterium that causes tuberculosis. And we do this all by way of the administration of light. There's no surgery, there's no reagent or potion. It's simply an administration of light. It's a painless administration of light. And once that light is targeted to the human body, we can easily break down the herpes virus and get rid of that causative agent of herpes viral disease.
And you've actually had folks where this has been the case for them, testimonials, people that have had herpes and it's been eradicated.
Yes, that's correct. Testimonies and even diagnostic tests from clinics around the world. So this is not theory, this is practice. We are able to eradicate the herpes virus from the body. We are able to break down the HIV virus from the body.
Right, you've also had that too, where testimonials and actual documentation as well.
Yes. Yeah, so I am research-driven, yes, but I'm also performance-driven. And I look at performance above all else. So I have been able to prove from clinics around the world diagnostic tests in which after we submitted people to this scalar light therapy, that their test results for herpes came back negative, no viral load, that their test results for HIV came back negative, no viral load. I believe that this someday soon is going to be embraced by the world as the easy means to eradicate viruses from the human body.
Now, there's another technology, and I just in case, because I know there's probably somebody out there thinking about that. How does this compare to? Is it? What is it? Not Scalar. Oh, there's another technology, another light technology that many people are more familiar with, and I cannot think of that name, what that is right now. But there are a couple of different kinds out there, and it sounds like what you're saying is this sort of is at the top in terms of, this particular frequency of what it actually is able to do, where others may be able to do some things, but maybe not necessarily penetrate a virus to this extent.
I'll say this. With a scalar light instrument, we have consummate control over microbes. We have mastery over microbes, germs. And I'm saying with these instruments that I have developed, we have consummate control over the herpes virus, consummate control over the HIV virus. I am saying that it is easy to break apart, to fragment, to destroy the herpes virus. It is easy to break apart, fragment, destroy the HIV virus. And again, to underscore, this is accomplished by this energy spectrum, by this dimension, scalar light. Scalar light allows us to control nature. I can't emphasize that enough. It's not necessarily any ability that I have as a researcher. To the contrary, it's the ability of these instruments to easily manipulate molecular forms. And we can literally break down, negate the chemical bonds that hold together a virus. Well, if you negate the molecular bonds that hold together the herpes virus, it falls apart. And that is precisely what happens. And again, we have the test results from hundreds of clinics around the world, hundreds of people who've come to our program, and we've been able to eradicate herpes from their body. So the evidence is overwhelming. Frankly, the evidence is incontrovertible. And the day is coming that people will embrace scalar light as this new technology to improve human health and to perform other functions. It's going to change the way we live.
I guess that I think most of us are ready for that at this time. I had the opportunity to experience it, and we should also add that this is done. What is fantastic about this is that it's done remotely. So let's talk about that really quickly too. But the fact that it's done remotely and what happens with the uploading a photograph, because it requires that. So can you explain that part for us, please?
Surely. My instrument, let's compare it to a satellite. If a satellite can send your cell phone a signal, I likewise, with my instrument, a scalar energy satellite, can send a person a signal. So in order for me to do that, I can send this signal, this scalar light signal, to anybody or any animal in the world and improve their health. Now, the way I can recognize that person is by way of their photograph. Now, consider if we're working in this dimension, this quantum dimension, it's a dimension of intelligence. It's a dimension of quantum entanglement. And when people send me a photograph, my instrument is able to detect their presence and then send energy to them, much like a satellite can send a signal to a cell phone anywhere you are traveling with that cell phone. You don't have to be stationary. Well, likewise, my instrument, working like a satellite, can find a person and send a signal to that person, no matter where they live in the world. So what I'm saying is this, that a scalar light instrument can not only eradicate pathogens and parasites from the body, but we're also able to work with people remotely. They don't have to come to a fixed location. An instrument, a scalar light instrument, can work with millions of people around the world by virtue of their photograph and send them healing energy by way of photographic identification. It's quite novel, but this is the nature of scalar light.
Yes. So is it that the frequency of the person is being picked up, or I mean, as far as,
Yes.
okay, all right. I wanted to just clarify that for anybody who might not understand that that's what's going on.
Sure. Let's use this analogy, Sonia. Everybody has a fingerprint. Okay, that's your physical fingerprint on your finger. Well, everybody likewise has a light signature, an energetic fingerprint, and we can find a person energetically by way of their photograph. Again, it's quite profound, but this is the way the quantum universe works. It's an informational, it's a holographic universe, and information is readily available and shared in that holographic universe. So I forecast that not only will we use Scalar to cure people in the future, but it's also going to be an incredible informational system that will far exceed any computer in its present capacity.
Now, okay, so now I'll mention when I had the opportunity to try it. And I have to say that, yes, you do feel something. Now, it's just in a very interesting way. It's almost like a couple days, maybe you don't really think about it, and then suddenly you notice that you feel very different. Something feels different. For me, I believe it was day 9 in particular, even though I was feeling things before that. But day 9 in particular, I remember feeling so upbeat. I mean, and I'm usually in an upbeat mood, but it was extra, and I was extra energized. And then I received the email, that was indicating that today you might be feeling this, this, and this. And it just happened to align with what I was feeling. So it wasn't a situation where I saw, that first and then it was a suggestion. It was an actual feeling. And then when I read that, I thought, wow. And I called a friend of mine and also gave her the information and gave a couple of people the information. And so yes, so remotely this does happen. It does work. It is happening. So that is something I think that people would get excited about, because if you can't leave your house, and this is a fantastic way to get the kind of healing. And it knows, obviously, what's going on in the body. That's the other part of it that I'd love for you to talk about. Because even though the frequencies may be going out, is it the same frequency that's going out to maybe, mass amounts of people? And if that's the case, does it then target based on the individual's situation?
That's a good point. When we're working with this energy, I do believe it's self-directed. I do believe it has a consciousness about it. And what I've noticed with scalar light, it also has a profound influence upon our brain waves, upon our 7 chakras or the meridian system. Now, in order to do that, then scalar would have to not only recognize a person, but be able to interface with their brain waves, be able to interface with their 7 chakras. And I'm saying that is my case. That is my experience. So when working with these high-powered instruments, I think we have in a direct access, if you will, the doorway to the human mind, to the human psyche. And in so doing, if that indeed is correct, if my theory is correct, then we are working at the the level of consciousness, the level of intention, quite profound. And that is my contention. That's what scalar energy offers to us. It's a new way of looking at health, yes, but it also is an introduction into a different dimension. I can't emphasize that enough. It's not electricity. It's not magnetism. It's a different energy spectrum, a different dimension. And in so doing, when we enter into that dimension, we enter into the dimension of spirit, the end. We enter into a consciousness, the dimension of intention, quite profound. I've gone on record by saying I believe scalar will be used as the pathway, the tool for superior mental health in the future.
Now, there's another thing that kind of connects that you said here, and I believe all instructions in the universe are initiated by scalar light.
Yes.
Furthermore, scalar light is the fundamental force that assembles and maintains the molecular structure of minerals. I happen to take this piece from the mineral program that you have. So we're going to talk about some of the different programs that you have. But I thought this was very, very, very important here. The fundamental force that assembles and maintains the molecular structure, which would be the main reason why scalar light is able to have this kind of effect then on disassembling, the viruses or pathogens.
Let me speak to that point. Thank you. So let's once again look at the universe and its composition. If you look at the universe, where does the light originate from? The sun and the stars. So that sunlight, that starlight, is much more than just light. It's intelligence. So what I am saying is that scalar light is starlight, and this starlight is responsible for downloading, if you will, its geometry upon all of nature. So starlight is what gives us molecular forms, atomic forms. It's the very guiding spirit, if you will, of all molecular forms. Now, when I'm taking that starlight or scalar light and I'm directing it into a person, I can instruct that starlight, again, it's intelligence, I can instruct scalar light to break down the molecular structure of viruses, bacteria, protozoan, different types of prions, etc. I can eradicate, I can efface from the body these pathogens, these parasites. And then to once again, to reiterate, this scalar light intelligence, this starlight, is also responsible for our brain waves. If you say brain waves, a synonymous term would be a scalar wave. Our brain waves are really, by way of origination, a scalar wave. It's a wave of a light. It's an intelligence. So it's this starlight energy that not only gives us geometric forms, whether it's a virus or concrete or wood, we also find that scalar light or starlight is responsible for intention, is responsible for our brain waves. That's how important this energy is. I will say that scalar light, starlight, is really the primal force behind all instructions in the universe.
Wow, that's powerful. And I'm glad you gave that breakdown, because I think this is about being educated. Things that we are obviously not taught in school. People don't necessarily just readily learn this. We don't really have enough information, personal information anyway, about how the body works or its connection and this vast network. So I think that's really important with people understanding. Now, somebody sent me the, technology that I might have been looking for. I guess the comparison with Rise Are you familiar with Rise technology?
Yes.
Okay.
Royal Rife was a brilliant engineer, a brilliant scientist. He developed instruments that could likewise break down and eradicate certain disease conditions. Purportedly, he could likewise break down and eradicate viruses, bacteria, parasites from the body. I am not working per se with a Rife instrument. My instrument is custom built. But along that vein, we see that Royal Rife introduced, in many ways, this energy medicine genre to the world. And I'm continuing in many ways in his footsteps and the footsteps of other brilliant inventors.
Yeah, it is Rife technology. Thank you, listener, for sending that to me, because, yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of, because I know there are people out there that are using Rife technology and want to probably know if it compares. Is it the same thing? Is it different? So I needed to clarify that. All right, now there are several different options then. If one were to decide to take, one of these programs, one of these, what do you call them? I'm calling them programs or sessions.
You can call them therapies or
therapies.
Programs, sure.
Okay. And there are different kinds. Would you go down the list of the different kinds that are available on the site?
Sure. we have the ability, again, with Scalar to create physical form. So we're able to create male and female hormones. Many men and women feel the improvement in their health because we can create female hormones for women and male hormones for men. And that is especially helpful when you have a deficiency in hormones. We have scalar energy instruments that can create inside your body neurotransmitters and endorphins. Now, the upshot of that program is people feel happier. Imagine if you're being treated 24 hours a day for acetylcholine and dopamine and serotonin. Well, the neurotransmitter and endorphin program do precisely that function. We are able to create inside your body, throughout your entire body, every cell participates in this creation of endorphins in your body. And people feel elated. It's almost a sense of euphoria throughout the day. That's called neurotransmitters and endorphins. There's other programs. There's a natural food program in which we can take the plant chemicals found in natural foods and then recreate those plant chemicals, copy those plant chemicals and recreate them, reform them inside the human body. And the upshot of the natural foods program is that people experience superior nutrition to the point that some people are no longer hungry because their body finally has the micronutrients, the plant chemicals that it's been yearning for. Now that's known as a natural foods therapy. The point I'm trying to make is this. A scalar light instrument will reproduce nature. I'm a purist, and I only work with natural products. And in so doing, I'm able to recreate nature inside the body. So let's take the example of, say, celery. If I wanted to recreate the plant chemical composition of celery inside the human body, I simply would input into my scalar energy instrument a celery pattern. And then I could broadcast the energy, the actual molecular energy of celery to recreate plant chemicals inside our body. So my instrument will send instructions into the human body, and in so doing, that instruction will serve to recreate, to actually copy the energetic pattern of celery, plant chemicals found in celery, inside our body. Quite profound. This is all done by way of the quantum instruction, quantum entanglement.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure if you would stop right there. I didn't want to interrupt at that point. But no, that was a great explanation, and I think made many things clear in terms of how this is possible or how this is happening in terms of nutrition, in terms of the food aspect of it. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a break. And then when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the 15-day free trial that you will be able to participate in, be able to experience. So just stay tuned, and we will be right back after this brief message.
Do you have a car, a boat, or a motorcycle that's really ready to go, kind of like on its last legs? It's probably been really good to you. Well, check out this idea. How about let it do one more good thing and benefit KPFK? Your donation is tax deductible and it's easy to do. For more information about how the donation process works and how to get your tax deduction, all you have to do is call 877-KPFK-AUTO. That's 877-KPFK-AUTO. That's it.
And we are back. Of course, you're listening to The Expansion Zone with Sonya Barrett, and that's me, your host. And we're coming to you from KPFK 90.7 FM in Southern California. And my guest today is Tom, I don't want to mispronounce your name, but our guest today is Tom Paladino. And we are having a really deep conversation about some cutting-edge technology, some cutting-edge healing possibility that's available to us, and we just keep upping things. It seems like in this time that we're in. And one of the things I mentioned right before the break was the 15-day free trial, and there are people that have actually gotten, I guess, major healing from even the 15-day free trial. So, Tom, would you tell us about this and how people can get this 15-day free trial? Oops, did I? I have a feeling that he dropped by. Yes, he dropped out for a second. So we'll be getting him right back on the line. But I think all of this is fascinating. And, of course, like I said, I've had the opportunity to experience it. And this is generally what I do. I try to experience things before I talk about it. And we have him back on the line. Tom, you're back with us, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what I want to talk about is the 15-day free trial. And I was saying that there are people that have actually had major changes in their health in just the 15-day trial. And of course, they've gone on to do more. But would you talk about that with the audience and also let us know how people can participate in receiving this 15-day free trial?
Sure, thanks. Well, we offer to anybody in the world 15 days of free sessions. And we've always wanted to accentuate that we're a healing ministry. And this is about healing. So in order to get this information out there, we're willing to treat everybody in the world for free. Okay, that's our goal, healing for the world. So if you were to visit our website, it is scalarlight.com. Anybody in the world can sign up for 15 days of free session. You simply visit the website, upload your photograph, and you can upload photographs of family members and even your pets. And over the course of 15 days, we will eradicate the germs from your body and provide a chakra balancing on a daily basis, as well as a nutrient program. There's 3 modalities. It's a pathogen cleanse, a chakra balancing, and a nutrient program. Now, as a result, after 15 days of sessions, most people feel better. Their health is improved, I can guarantee them that much. And they feel it. The greater majority of people, they feel it. Now, why? Well, many people carry germs, pathogens, microbes throughout their body for their entire life. Now imagine these scalar light instruments have the ability to eradicate over 400,000 species of pathogens. So on a daily basis, we're targeting and eradicating hundreds of different species of viruses, bacteria, protozoan in your body that you've collected, so to speak, that you've been infected with throughout your life. Well, the result of that is that most people feel much better because they no longer have the indigestion that goes along with this type of infection. Or we see that an arthritic condition has been palliated because we've removed a lot of the bacteria and hence the inflammation from their joints. So the pathogenic cleanse is administered on a daily basis. We are cleansing your body of parasites and pathogens. Most people will feel better, some significantly, after a 15-day trial. So again, it's scalarlight.com. I want to offer that to everybody in the world. This is the way we're going to get this technology out there, by way of these free trials and by way of people experiencing the benefits and how they can attest to the fact that scalar light does indeed work, and that they can achieve a higher state of health, that this really is a means to improving their overall well-being.
Now, I have a question here in terms of one of the therapies that you have, because I really liked it quite a bit, I must say, and I also had a friend who called me and said, what happened for her in terms of what she was experiencing. And then suddenly, it was all gone. Now, I wanted to go ahead and get back on, I think, whatever the protocols were for the free one, the one that you mentioned, because it was great for me. Now, the hormone ones I thought about, but then I think it says on there that you might want to, either consult or find out, because you might not necessarily need it. And could you explain that? Because there are people that are going to get on there and they're not going to have these particular answers.
Sure. If you're considering a male or female hormone therapy, you might be a candidate for these therapies, let's say if you're over the age of 35. And I say that because most people by age of 35 are seeing a deficiency in hormones, men and women. I am 59 years of age. I treat myself with male hormones on a daily basis, and I can attest I can see that it helps me, and I can attest that I am stronger because of it. One of the male hormones that I'm treating myself with is testosterone. Now, these instruments are working 24 hours a day, so imagine assembling testosterone in my body 24 hours a day. I'm stronger. And I think it's improved my equilibrium, and I think, likewise, it's helped my mental clarity. It's just a fact of life. The older we get, we usually experience a deficiency in these hormones. So what we do, we usually suggest that people try them for 30 days, more or less an experiment, a trial period. And if you think that helps you, then some people stay on it year-round. I will say, to speak to that point once again, it's a matter of testing. Everybody's different. There's no two people that are identical. But I will encourage people, if you're over the age of 35 and you think you have a deficiency of hormones, many of us do, then try the program. It's only 30 days. Keep in mind, I'm only working with natural chemicals. I don't work with any man-made chemical. So I'm a purist, and I keep all of our sessions with nature. And I think many people will see the benefit of the hormone therapy.
Okay. And also, there's a fat-burning therapy as well. And, of course, people are encouraged to still maintain a particular, way of eating, still be in a healthy space, eating the cleanest food possible. But would you also speak on that?
Yes. We're able, with this fat metabolism program, to assemble different enzymes, different hormones, etc., inside the body that serve to break down, to metabolize fat. Now, the program is very successful for some people if two behaviors are observed. Number one, you cannot overeat. So the fat metabolism program really only works with people who can curb their appetite. And secondly, the fat metabolism program works best with people after 2 or 3 months. If they stay on it continuously, they will see in many cases that they can lose a few inches off of their waist, or that fat is being metabolized and broken down, and that they see that they've lost maybe a little bit of weight, but specifically we see this in people who can curb their appetite and go hand in hand and simultaneously experience the fat metabolism program for a period of time. So I don't per se call it weight loss because I don't guarantee weight loss, but I can guarantee that we can break down fat in your body. And we've achieved that. We've experienced that.
Okay, all right. So the other thing, I wanted to point out a couple of other experiences from, I guess, others, because I think you've written on it as well, and there are some videos there, video testimonials, and one is Epstein-Barr virus that was eradicated, and you also talk about transgene found in GMO foods disassembled by pathogen cleanse. Now, I think this one was like a really, really interesting one when I saw that.
Yes. Again, with scalar light instruments, we can control physical matter, physical forms. And my instruments can break down genetically modified foods, such as corn, genetically modified corn, or alfalfa, or sugar beets, or papaya. So I have the ability to program my scalar light instrument to break apart, to fragment the transgenes, the transgenic genes found in genetically modified food. Now, why is that important? Well, many of these man-made genes produce proteins in our body that are not recognized. And these man-made genes, or these man-made proteins, have been shown to cause disease. I am no fan of genetically modified food. It's fake food. And our body now, it's being proven, our body does not recognize these man-made genes, these man-made proteins. And in so doing, it is seen as an assault on our body. And I wanted to develop a technique whereby we could break apart, we could eradicate from our body these transgenic genes. Well, if I can control the genetic structure of a virus, and I can break down the genetic structure of the herpes virus or the Epstein-Barr virus, then likewise I can break down the genetic structure of a genetically modified food, again, such as corn or alfalfa, etc. And that, I think, is going to be a benefit of mankind. I think there's so many medical conditions that can be derived from genetically modified food. It is widespread now throughout the United States and other countries around the world. Again, I'm against genetically modified food. As a purist, I eat organic. I will not touch organic, genetically modified food.
Now, how is this being done? I mean, is it after one has consumed the food and a genetically modified food, or do you have a specific program or specific therapy, with a list of foods, with these certain foods?
It's a universal approach that I have, so to speak. And every day, if you're on the pathogenic cleanse, which is our standardized program, I'm also treating for genetically modified food on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. So we're not only cleansing your body of pathogens and parasites, but we're also, on a daily basis, addressing these genetically modified foods, these transgenic genes inside your body, and we're breaking apart the transgenic genes just as we can break apart the viruses and the bacteria inside your body.
All right. Yes, that was an important one to understand, because I know, if I'm listening on the other end, right, it's like, okay, well, how are we going to do that? Because a lot of people that understand this whole GMO issue that we're dealing with, they, even though you try to eat organics, they're labeling things all kind of weird, suddenly everything is organic. So it's like even having to, in a way, hunt down your food. So you are somehow either inhaling things, or in some way it's still a little bit gets into your body, a little bit or a lot. So this is really important. So this pathogenic cleanse, so this is basically what you experience for the 15-day. It is the pathogenic cleanse that you experience for the 15-day trial, correct?
That's correct. That's correct. And again, to reiterate, for 15 days on a daily basis, we will address pathogens in your body, various types of protozoan, parasites, fungi, mold, bacteria. And these instruments are able to send a signal into the human body to break apart these microorganisms that cause disease or lead to disease conditions. So additionally, we're able to break down transgenic genes, different types of genes found in genetically modified food. Now, if the audience has done their homework, there is an emerging evidence, scientific evidence, that many genetically modified foods are being associated with different medical conditions, such as autoimmune disease. Some people go as far to say that there's an allergic reaction to genetically modified food. Others have offered that genetically modified food with these foreign genes, with these foreign proteins, could eventually cause cancer. There's a link between Morgellons and genetically modified food. So I'm not for these man-made genes. I take a stance against genetically modified food.
Okay, all right. Well, I have another question here, and it's regarding the chakra balancing. Now, there's so many different interpretations that people may have about what that means. I mean, I have a very intelligent audience. They're very familiar with a lot of the cutting-edge things that I'll bring on the show. But from your standpoint, when you talk about chakra balancing, could you explain that a little bit more in the sense of targeting, a chakra, what that actually means.
Sure. Well, I believe everybody has 7 chakras, and the chakras are composed of scalar light. If you've ever considered a chakra, and many people describe a chakra as a spinning point of light, a rotating vortex, well, that's what scalar energy is. It's a vortex. It's a double helix. So our 7 chakras are 7 points of information. They are composed of scalar energy, or this star energy. And my scalar energy instrument thus has an immediate interface, a direct connection, if you will, with our 7 chakras. That's why if you really want to balance your chakras, you have to enter into that dimension of scalar energy. It's not electromagnetic energy that will give you the reach, the connection to the chakras. To the contrary, it's scalar energy that will give you that direct interface with our 7 chakras. So when I'm working with my scalar light instrument, it has an immediate influence upon our 7 chakras. And what I have seen, what we've experienced over the years, is that people are happier after chakra balancing. Some people have said that their depression or their anxiety has been lifted. I've had some people say that we've been able to curb their addiction problems, or to remove, simply remove any desire for alcohol or illegal drugs by way of the chakra program. Now, that's not a direct influence on my part. I don't have control over this energy spectrum. I am saying this energy spectrum, scalar, is able to correct an addiction, to remove an alcohol or a drug addiction on its own. So this is what I see in the future. The doorway to physical health, yes, is with scalar, but also through mental health and through the ability to balance our chakras and to have an immediate interface to our brain waves. This is sound mental health. In other words, if we can download information into a computer, then why can't we download information into the human mind? So if a computer can crunch numbers and you can download information into a computer, then I say that a scalar light instrument is going to be the computer for our mind in the future.
Yes, I love this. I love it. I think we've really been schooled today. And I asked you all those questions because I really like to break apart the science as much as possible, because many times we have a lot of maybe information that just feels very up in the air, very woo-woo, as people say. And I think that when we have a better understanding, we make better choices and we're better able to interact with these platforms, what's being offered, or really take it seriously and aim to try it, because it's there. It's there for the asking. And we need simplicity at this time. We need powerful simplicity. And this is what this sounds like.
You. Yes, it is, Sonia. And I really thank you for this opportunity to share with your audience this new technology. Scalar technology is about to change the world. I've always made this statement, and I stand by it. Scalar technology will have the same impact, if not a greater impact, upon mankind than that of the computer. The computer was an incredible invention. We all realize that. I'm saying that Scalar offers the same prospect for mankind. Okay, this is good news. This is happy news to your audience.
Yes, it is. So one more time, the website again.
The website is scalarlight.com, SCALAR, scalarlight.com. Introduce it, please, to your friends. Anybody in the world can sign up for the 15-day free session. All we need is that you email us a photograph. We'll do the rest. You don't need to change your diet or your exercise routine or just stay on your current medical regimen. You don't need to interrupt anything. We will perform these 3 functions for you: germ cleanse, chakra balancing, and provide nutrients in your body. After the 15-day trial, I would say the majority of you will feel better.
And also, there's an email that is sent, every day. So you're not just, left with knowing, oh, I'm on this 15-day trial. But every day you do receive an email over the course of the 15 days. Now, and is that the case then for, say, a 30-day, if you're on a 30-day program?
That's correct. Every session, every modality that we work with, we keep in touch with people on a daily basis. We want them to be informed. That's very important to us, yes. Sign up for the 15-day trial. We will be in touch with you on a daily basis.
And it's pretty easy then if somebody has a question to email and to get a response or to, if you can just let us know about that part in terms of reaching out if they need to.
Sure. Our website has a lot of information. If you want to read articles, if you want to call us, our support desk is open 7 days a week. Our number is 805-364-3051. We're very serious about this because this is health. This is your life. And that's why we have support desk help, a live operator 7 days a week.
Very awesome. Now, I think, let me see what else is there to cover. I know we're pretty much running close on time here. We only have like a couple of minutes left. Real quickly, can you say anything about the minerals?
Sure. We have a program called Minerals and Precious Stones. So we're looking at the mineral for the physical dimension, and we're looking at the precious stones for the spiritual or the say psychic dimension. So we're able to assemble the energetic pattern of minerals into the human body, calcium, carbon, potassium, etc., as well as precious stones, sapphire, ruby, diamond. And this combination of, for the physical constitution, the minerals, and then the spiritual or the psychic constitution, the precious stones, helps people both physically and spiritually. And the reason I've come out with this program is because, yes, our food is denatured, and we need that mineral composition in our body by way of this program, Mineral and Precious Stone. But also, I'm a firm believer that these precious stones carry intelligence. You could almost say some of these precious stones carry virtue or qualities, stellar qualities in human character. So I'm trying to improve the physical constitution with minerals.
Well, we are pretty much there now. I hated to stop you right there, but I think people can find out any of the additional information online as well. Tom, I want to thank you so much for being on the show, and I look forward to having you back, and I look forward to continuing my experience with Scalar Light as well. Thank you so much to the listening audience. Thanks to our engineer, D'Angelo Jones. If you want to find out more about me and my work, do visit therealsoniabarrett.com. And a new website coming, theexpansionzone.com. So stay tuned. Check in about a few days. And remember to live life to its fullest and question everything. So until next time, see you then.